So in our last class, we saw how to make a basic cube. We saw how we can create a data source, then a data source view, and then how we can create the various dimensions and the hierarchy within the dimensions, and then the cube. So today we are going to create one more cube and explore some more properties related with a cube and what else we can do with the cube. So let's go to the cube, right click, say a new cube. So this wizard comes up, say next, and we are going to use existing tables, and next, and then we have to select. So this is going to be a data source view, which is right, and then it's asking us to select one of the fact tables. So, or any measures, right? It is asking to select the measure group table. So this time we are going to select the fact internet sales, the fact reseller sales. These are the two fact tables. Click on next, and then it gives us all the list of the numerical measures within the fact table, and we are going to select the ones that we are interested in. So we are going to select for now we are only going to select the sales, the total product cost and the sales amount from the fact internet sales. And similarly, we are going to select from the fact reseller sales, total product cost and sales amount. Say next. And these are all the dimensions which are related to this cube. So we do not want promotion, sales, territory, currency. So we choose the ones which we want. Say do a next and select new dimensions to be created. So we do not want these to be created, not want this to be created, we do not want this to be created, we do not want the currency to be created. Do a next. And it's asking for a cube name, so this time let's give it another cube name. So this, let it be the demo cube. And it's showing a summary of all the measure groups that we have selected across all the dimensions across which we would want to view our data. Do a finish. And now we can see on the right hand side that we have this particular cube, which is known as the demo cube.cube. Now, if we click on the, okay, let's just close this. We can see that there's this demo cube design is there, where it shows us the measures as well as the dimensions across which we want the data to be seen. You can see that the dimension date has been split into due date, ship date, and order date, which are the keys on which a date dimension is joined to the fact internet sales, as we can see from here. Okay, so these are the keys on which it is joined with the date dimension. Okay. Okay, so this is a cube structure. To be able to browse the data in the cube, we need to deploy the cube first. So for deploying, we're going to save all the changes that we have made, and we're going to start with the deployment. Going to press the start button, and it's going to start the deployment. It's asking the password for the data source. So we provided a password because we provided Windows authentication. Say okay. And it says deployment completed successfully. So close this. Go to the process button. Let's process the cube. Run it. If processing succeeded, so close, close. Then this is your reconnect button, reconnect. and then we have this view of the cube, and we can drag and drop any measure and we should be able to see something. The sales amount. Okay, so there are some values within that cube as we saw. So this we had seen even last time, how to create a cube. Now we are going to create some more objects which are related to the cube and which are helpful in from the business point of view, and there are some more features which the business can then use for the decision making. So if you look at the top, you will see that there are various icons over here, and there's a lot of text, and there are a lot of things that we can do with the cube. So this is your cube structure. It simply shows you that which fact tables are there, how they are related to the dimension tables. The fact tables are highlighted in yellow, dimension tables are highlighted in blue. Then you have this dimension usage tab, in which you can see your fact names. So we have taken two fact tables from the data source view, the fact internet sales and the fact reseller sales. And these are all the dimensions which are available for us in the cube. And you can see that how these dimensions are related to these fact tables. So the fact internet sales, the due date column in the fact internet sales is linked by the date dimension. The dim date is linked by the date dimension on the date column. Dim products on the product column. Dim customer on the customer key. So how these dimensions and facts are related, that is what is shown here. For the fact reseller sales, that we can see that there is no dim customer. So there are no customer key. There is no customer key in the fact reseller sales. So this one is not related to the customer dimension. This is called the dimension usage tab, and you can see which fact tables are related to which dimension tables. All right, and you can see if you click on that link that there is a defined relationship wizard that comes up. Then you can define your relationship type from regular to fact to reference to many and so on, and to no relationship. So if the SSAS is not able to decipher on its own and you want to explicitly define a relationship between a dimension and the fact table, you can do that by clicking over here. For example, let's say that we actually want to define a relationship between the customer and the fact reseller sales, and we have created some key to join them, and we can define a relationship over here between them, and it will ask for a key on which it is joined, and we can define a key, a user calculated key. Now the next tab is the calculations tab, and this is one of the important tabs because this allows us to include some calculations within the cube. So that would add some value because these would be additional columns. We would be adding value to the data that we already have in the data source view, and that would provide additional information and value to the business users. So this is your calculation tab, and once you click on it, you'll see that a script organizer pane comes up on the left hand side, and there's something called calculate. So this is the script view wherein you can write your script for the calculate command and calculate some measures, additional measures. But this is not there is an easier way to write this, and that is what we are going to do. And you can see that there is something called a form view over here. So if you click on the form view, or you just go over here on the top, and you'll see that there are various options over here, and there's something called the new calculated member over here. So if you click on that new calculated member, okay, a default member would be created here, which is nothing but an additional measure, and you'll see that the default name is a calculated measure. And now this view is different from our script view which we were seeing. So this is actually the form view, and you have to enter your information correctly in here, and then only you'll be able to see the script. Otherwise you won't be able to toggle between the two, so be careful when you do this. So what we have done, we have gone at the top and clicked on the new calculated member. Is when we click on that, we get a member over here, which is our calculated member. Okay, we'll just delete this. Okay, cancel it. Okay, calculated member. You go back to the calculated member. Oh, okay. And now we are going to give it a name, a meaningful name. So what we are going to do is create the profit, the gross profit for this, whatever organization this is, based on the sales amount that we have and the product cost for the products that we have. So we are going to calculate a total sales column, total sales, and that is the name that we're going to give so that it's a meaningful name. And then in the expressions tab, I'm going to do a summation from the measures over here. So there are these tools over here. You can see that there are all the measures listed and the dimensions listed. So just expand the measures tab and you'll see that there are two fact tables over here. Do a fact internet sales expansion. Okay, and take the sales amount from there. So I'm going to drag and drop the sales amount over here, and then I'm going to add it. So plus with the sales amount from the fact reseller sales. So that would give me the total sales. So just drag and drop over here, and then this becomes my sales amount from the other fact table. So that is what I'm going to do. All right, and I'm going to just save it, and this becomes my total sales. Now I'm going to create another calculated member, and I'll again give it a meaningful name called the product cost. Okay, I'm again going to go down to my measures and pull the total product cost from the fact internet sales and the total product cost from the fact reseller sales, and I have to sum them up. So I am going to add a plus between the two. All right, I'm going to save these as well. Now I have two measures created, and now I am going to calculate the gross profit. So I'm going to create another new calculated member. So click over here. The member has come up, and now we're going to give it a meaningful name once again, which is going to be gross profit. And the expression for gross profit would be based on our calculated values from here. So it would be, let's say, it would be total sales from here. So, okay, let's first delete this. We'll create the gross profit at the end. Let's delete this. Okay, save the cube and try to process it once. Okay. Okay. The deployment completed successfully. Now we're going to process the cube, run. And succeeded, to close and close, close, go back to the cube structure, close the browser, do a reconnect, and then go back to the calculation tab. Okay. Now we have our measures over here. Okay. Can reconnect. Okay. And now you can see that the two measures that we calculated, product cost and total sales, can be seen within the list of measures right over here. So now they have come here, product cost and total sales. Okay, so whatever measures, calculated measures you're calculating over here, they're going to be added to your list of measures. Okay, all right. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create a new calculated member and we are going to calculate the gross profit. So new calculated member, and then give it a meaningful name once again. It's going to be gross profit. So if any of your calculated member name contains a space in between, then you have to enclose the name within the square bracket. So you have to be careful about that. And then within the expression, we are going to take our total sales and then we are going to subtract our product cost from the total sales. Okay, and close them within the brackets, and then this is going to be a division sign. We're going to divide it by the product cost. Alright, so this will be the calculation for our gross profit, and we are going to save this as well. Now we have created 3 calculated members: total sales, product cost, and gross profit as well. Okay. And now the next step that we're going to do is create the KPI. But before that, since we have created, we should be able to browse these calculated members within a cube. So we are going to try and browse the cube. Now we need to process the cube as always because we have added new details to the cube. So we will be processing the cube first and then we'll explore a cube once again in the browser. Every time you make a change to the cube structure, you need to process the cube. Close. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, okay, let it be there. We're going to move to the browser tab, and it says that here at the bottom that the cube has been reprocessed on the server to prevent possible browsing errors. Click reconnect. So you can either click from here or you can click from the top as well, as you know. Now here, if you click on the measures, you can see the 3 measures that we have created. We have the gross profit, the product cost, and the total sales. So just drag and drop them and execute the query, and we should be able to see some values. So this is your total sales, this is your product cost, and let's add the gross profit as well and execute the query. So you get all these values. All right. So now, if we present this cube to any of the business user, they have additional information. If they want to see what is the total sales, what is the total product cost, what is the gross profit margin, then they will be able to see that information using these additional measures that we have created. So this is a way you can go and create your calculated measures.